Welcome back to Whitman live stream here. To all the listeners who joined us for the women's game, and those of you who have just tuned in for tonight's men's action. If you missed it, the Whitman women won 89-50 over PLU. PLU shot just 42% from the floor, 40 from three though. We're led by the 14 points and 5 rebounds of Emi Wada and 11 points of Sydney Reisner. PLU with just 1 assist on the night and 25 turnovers. So not a very good assist-to-turnover ratio, and they entered the night ranked in that category on the women's side. So interesting there. Whitman shot 57%, 53% from three, so really hot shooting night for the Blues. Had 4 players in double digits, 18 points by Emelina Baker, 17 points by Morgan Montgomery, 14 points by Kayla Peters, 13 points by Holly Morgan. Emelina Baker with another double-double. She also had 10 rebounds. Brianna Andrade had 7 rebounds for the Blues. 4 assists for Kayla Peters, 3 assists each for Andrade and Montgomery. Whitman 17 assists to 10 turnovers. Out-rebounded the Lutes 33-22. And outscored them points off of turnovers 32-4. So really some early turnover issues for the Lutes that let the Blues run away from them and never able to get them back in sight were the Lutes. And so that was tonight's women's final. In the men's game, huge game here, tied for 6th. PLU 8-7, 2-4 in conference. Whitman 7-8, 2-4 in conference. PLU comes in first in the conference in free throw percentage, second in the conference in three-point field goal percentage, third in the conference in scoring margin. Led by Charlie Capranos, who is 8th in the conference at 14 points per game, shooting 51.6 from the field, 40% from three. Second in the conference in rebounding at 8.3 points per game. Kind of does a little bit everything for the Lutes. Number 12, Capranos, 6'5", sophomore out of Portland, Oregon. And then Ben Tellez, 13.7 points per game, second in the conference in free throw shooting at 82%. Tellez, 6'2", senior out of Concord, California. Those two led PLU in a win over Linfield. Tellez with 22 points and 6 rebounds. Capranos with 12 points, 8 assists in their most recent game. The Lutes shot 55% in that game, 50% from three. So again, three-point shooting for the Lutes going to be a thing tonight to keep an eye on. Whitman's really going to have to do a good job of defending that three-point line. Whitman, again, coming in off of a big win against George Fox. George Fox, I think, only played 6 players in that game according to the box score. So I don't know if that's off. It looks like it's off to me. But, yeah, because it only counted for 111. Anyway, Whitman won 93-88. So, yeah, that box score is off for George Fox. But point being, Ali Efaishik with a career-high 40 points was 16 for 21 from the free throw line with 5 assists. And Milos Šarenec, 14 points, 13 rebounds for the Blues, who shot 49% in that game, 43% from three. Again, Whitman been pretty good when they've been able to take care of the ball, have had some turnover issues, only 7 turnovers in that George Fox game, but they are currently 9th in the conference in turnover margin. So have turned the ball over 80 more times in 15 games than their opponents. So again, 5 turnovers game difference. So that's going to be a big one to watch. So 3-point shooting of the Lutes, and can Whitman hold on to the basketball and create themselves some easy looks? Ishik, reigning player of the week for the Blues, 6th in the conference in scoring at 15.1 points per game, 4th in the conference in free throw percentage, 5th in the conference in assists per game, and Milos Šarenec averaging 12.7 points per game and 10.3 rebounds per game, 1st in the conference in rebounding. So we're going to take another shot at sending you down to the PA address announcer for tonight's starting lineups. Just kidding. those of you that joined us for the first game had a little bit of a pause before the first game because we figured out the mic was not working for the PA address. So we won't have a PA address, so we're just going to get you starters. So that's number 11, Ben Tejas out there. Number 4, Caleb Berry. 12, Charlie Capranos. Number 3, Dom Parasso. And number 5, Julian Brown for the Lutes. Whitman has number 7, Milos Sharanets. Number 18, Bernard Desi. 30, Ken Higgins. Number 9, Ali Efaishik, player of the week in the Northwest Conference last week. And number 1, Marcel Elisagare. And I didn't get to use this line before the women's game, but it's been a cold day outside, icy this morning, a little bit of fog, but in the gym we got 72 and sunny, and we are ready for some basketball. Desi and Parasso to jump it up. Tip goes to the Lutes. Whitman in man-to-man. And that's going to be Capranos with a travel, so one early turnover for the Lute men. Maybe the women's game rubbing off on them a little bit. Elisagare is going to get it, throw it right back to Ishik. Again, Ishik, 21 free throws attempted in the game the other night, so see if he can get another night going to the line. Nice pass underneath to Desi. That's an underrated aspect of Ishik's game. He has 54 assists on the season, which is 5th in the conference in assists per game. Whitman with the early 2-0 lead. Tejas gets in the lane against Elisagare. A little turnaround jumper. Rolls around. Ishik able to tip it to Sharanets. PLU in some man-to-man. That's Caleb Berry trying to get a steal out there. Pressuring Sharanets a little bit. Sharanets on the roll. Gets it inside. Going to go to work here on Parasso. Back out to Ishik. Back into Sharanets. Good patience. Sharanets drives. He's going to get hit. PLU doesn't like it. The referees don't seem to care. And Dom Parasso with his first foul. Parasso, the 6'6 senior out of Stockton, California. That'll send Milos Sharanets to the line. Sharanets, a 6'4 sophomore out of Bratunac, Bosnia and Herzegovina. Headed to the line. Knocks down the first. Sharanets, 65.5% from the free throw line on the season. Gets that first one. And the second. Got it. Berry into the front court. Finds Capranos, excuse me. Higgins going to get called for chugging the cutter there. Kind of a chest up Parasso, so Higgins will pick up an early one here. Ken Higgins, the first year out of, misspoke there. The sophomore out of Walla Walla. Fresh 20. That's Parasso off the inbounds play with a little 15-foot jump shot. First bucket of the game for the Lutes. Sharanets in that high post area with Desi in the corner, which is interesting. Desi can shoot the three a little bit, but again, they're not really going to step out and guard him, so maybe that's what they're looking for. Off the mark, Sharanets with an offensive rebound. Oh, nice pass to Desi. Desi cuts hard to the basket. Milos and Ali, both nifty passers. Both have found Desi in the early going there. Desi has 4 of the 6. Desi shows on that screen. Again, stays in traps for a second. Elisagare helps. Able to sprint back out. Again, that's designed to work that way, where the offensive player just can't make the pass to the open player after the double team on the on ball. 3 on the shot clock. Off the mark, ball's batted around. Capranos, good patience. Don't see very many 2-foot stop up fakes anymore, but man, it's effective because defenders just fly around anymore. and really can get them out of position if you're willing to stop your feet, stay on balance, and let them fly by. Sharanitz trying to find some cutters going. Whitman working the clock here. Ishik gets in the lane, steps through, tries to throw it back. Sharanitz off the mark. Kapranos on the floor to get it. Finds Tejas. Tejas ahead to Brown. Back to Brown. Brown will try the three, in and out. Again, we talked about that. Second in the conference in three-point field goal percentage. First in the conference in three-pointers made. Whitman's got to do a good job of keeping the three-point attempts and three-point makes by the Lutes in check. Sharanitz with the little bump. Takes the contact. Hits the little fall-away jumper. Whitman doing a good job of handling that dribble handoff action. Trying to ice the on ball. That's when you don't allow access to it. Brown off the mark. But that's Barry able to get the rebound. Little floater in the lane. Short, though. Whitman away with the rebound. Whitman still first in the conference in rebound margin, so going to have to do a good job there. PLU's fourth. Ooh, Sharanitz off the mark, gets his own, right back up. Blocked by Parasso. Great block by Parasso. Ahead. Kapranos ahead of the pack. Kind of leaked out as the ball is being battered around down underneath the Whitman basket. Looks like Julian Brown maybe tweaked an ankle or something. And that'll take us to the under 16 media timeout. 15:49 to go. Whitman leads PLU 8-6. $15:49 to go. Whitman leads PLU 8-6 here in the early going. That was not a timeout there. So what happened was the ball kind of rolled away after the bucket there by PLU. The officials blew the whistle to stop the clock while they were able to retrieve the basketball. And because of that dead ball situation, that took us to the under 16 media timeout. So again, not a traditional stoppage where, it's a foul or a turnover of some sort. Just kind of an errant ball rolling up the court, and they tried to, or had to stop it to go get the ball. So Whitman out of the timeout. Subs in for Whitman for the first time. Julian Witt in for the first time, 6-foot sophomore out of Nevada City, California. With Elisagare, Ishik, Jacob Fotu in for the first time tonight. 6'6" sophomore out of Auckland, New Zealand. And then Sharanitz down there in the corner. Number 15, Henry Smith in for the first time for the Lutes. Number 22, Mac Hepper in for the first time for the Lutes. Barry guarding the basketball with Tejas and Kapranos. Whitman working the ball. Hepper, 6'3" senior out of Stanwood, Washington. Sharanitz over the top of Smith. Smith, the 6'3" junior out of Hillsboro, Oregon, with the good defense. PLU away with the rebound after Sharanitz unable to knock down the jumper. Whitman shooting 50% so far in the early going. PLU just 37-5, but that'll improve as Barry with the nifty little flip over his head. Using the right hand from the left side to throw it over the shoulder and tie this game up. First tie since 0-0. Smith almost able to steal it away from Sharanitz. And that's Sarp Garkberg in for the first time for the Blues. Sarp's a 6'4" first year out of Antalya. Today, junior. Antalya, Turkey. Whitman off the mark again. PLU into the front court looking for their first lead of the night. A lot of action away from the ball as Capranos able to drive by Fotu. Capranos leading scorer for the Lutes. Oh, Kirkbrook with a little bit of trouble in the backcourt against Hepper. Hepper really doing a good job of pressuring the ball. But we'll see if Capranos keeps trying to go by Fotu there from that kind of high post perimeter area. Kirkbrook kind of stumbling all over the place. Elisagare tries the three. It's off the mark. Ishik's going to get fouled, I believe, on the rebound. We'll see what the call is. Yep, fouls on number 15. Henry Smith, just talked about him. Fresh 20 for Whitman. 14:03 remains. Lutes with their first lead at 10-8. Whitman's gone a little cold here. Elisagare was way off the mark, but the foul resets the shot clock. Elisagare trying to get in the lane. Kicks out to Witt. Witt to Ishik. 10 on the shot clock. Ishik's got to go here. Tries to throw it across to Fotu. Barry able to tip it away, and Capranos away with the rebound. Good skip pass by Barry over to Hepper. Capranos off the mark. Kirkbrook with the rebound. Looking to post Fotu. George Lazarevic checking in for the Blues, along with number 35, Sean Burton for PLU. Burton, 6'2" junior out of Lake Tapps, Washington, went to Bonnie Lake High School. George, 6'6" junior out of Belgrade, Serbia. Gokberg trying to get in the lane, finds Witt, back out to Gokberg. Witt will get it into Fotu. Fotu able to get the catch. Double team, back out to Witt. Witt with the smooth stroke. His first three of the night. Again, 6'4" sophomore out of Nevada City, California. There's that screen away, kind of come together screen, but on the weak side, and again, can be a back cut, can be a curl cut, pop out. Tejas hits a little jumper in the lane. Lead back to the Lutes. So starting to swap the lead back and forth. Again, big game because, again, you've got Whitworth and UPS playing up there tonight in Spokane. That's 1-2 in the conference, so tied for 6th here. George with the three. Lazarevic averaging 8.2 on the season, just 29% from three. Tejas gets loose underneath, knocks down the easy lay-in. Foul in the backcourt here by Burton, I believe. His first, team third. Subs in Mehmet Benner in for the first time for Whitman. And Ken Higgins back in. Benner, 6' redshirt sophomore at Ankara, Turkey. So Lazarevic, Fotu, Benner, Gokberg, and Higgins for the Blues. Burton, Parasso, Capranos. They're moving around too fast. Tell them to stand still. 15, Henry Smith. And I didn't see what the call was there. I was too busy trying to get a lineup for you. Legal screen, I think, on Fotu. And that will send us to the under 12 media, tied at 14, 11:48 remains. 11:48 to go. First half. Tied at 14. Under 12 media. Little Enter Sandman playing in the gym. Classic Metallica. Some head banging going on. Various fans. Pretty even action so far. PLU shooting 54%, 7 of 13, but 0 for 3 from 3. Whitman 5 for 11 from the floor, 2 for 4 from 3, 2 for 2 from the line. Rebounding is 6-5 in favor of the Blues. Blues with 3 turnovers, PLU with just 1. Coming out of timeout, Sharanitz, Benner, Higgins, Guckberg, and Fotu, who just picked up the offensive foul. And for PLU, 15, Henry Smith, 35, Sean Burton. Number 14 in for the first time, Cam Rice, 6'8" freshman out of Phoenix, Arizona. Parasso with the ball there, and keep missing one. 22, Hepper in for the Lutes. Good man-to-man defense here by Whitman, making everything difficult. Burton trying to step through. Sharanitz. Good defense, going to get called for the travel. Sharanitz thought he got called for a foul. He was ready to complain, but the official was headed the other way, calling a travel on Burton. Too many steps. They were just little ones, though. So Whitman basketball, 11:20 to go, tie it up. PLU with some good hard man-to-man as well, really getting out and pressuring the ball. Bernard Desi back in for the Blues, trying to get Desi on the curl cut. Into Sharanitz in the high. Some cutters working off of him, trying to maybe find a back cut. On ball. Ooh, Benner. Airmail. Sharanitz is either going to have to be a lot taller or a lot more athletic to catch that pass. In the immortal words of Bob Uecker, just a bit outside. Tried the corner and missed. Both teams kind of using that high post action pretty extensively. A lot of come-together screens. Hey, and that's a similar-looking pass. Cam Rice finds a fan in the fourth row. And it's back to Whitman, still tied up at 14. Guckberg into the front court. Elisagare was checked back in for Benner after that last pass. Ishik walking to the table. He'll come back in. Guckberg posted up. Gets Hepper off of his feet a little bit. Not really. Hepper did a pretty good job of staying down, but they're going to call the foul on Hepper. His first, team fourth. Sarp Guckberg headed to the line. 5.1 points per game for Sarp, 56% from the floor, just 50% from the line. Averages 4.8 rebounds a game as well, so pretty good little rebounder. Off the mark with the first one. Julian Brown back in. Again, we saw him leave earlier. Kind of limping a little bit. Seems to be moving just fine now. 6'4" senior out of Modesto, California. Guckberg off the mark with both, but Desi gets the rebound out to Elisagare, just long. Desi thought he had it, so he was heading back instead of staying in and rebounding. Bernard Desi thought Elisagare had that down, and it's just a bit long off the back rim. Again, that PLU running just a variety of things, hitting that high post or guard on the left side, and then screening away, and kind of that mid-wing screen that's turning into a come-together screen where the screener can slip it, the screener can screen and roll back, the receiver can cut to the basket either with a back cut or a curl cut, and then the screener pops back out. Whitman having a little bit of issues with that. And they're going to call another moving screen on the Blues. This one on Milos Sharanitz, his first, team third. Ishik back in for Guckberg. So we got Smith, Burton, Parasso, Rice, and Brown in for the Lutes. Higgins, Elisagare, Desi, Sharanitz, and Ishik in for the Blues. Ishik pretty quiet so far. No points after that career-high 40-point game. And also was, oh man, and that's going to be 2 on Sharanitz. 2 quick ones on Milos will send him probably to the bench. Yep, Julian Whittle checked back in, so Sharanitz might be done for the half. A little bit of foul trouble here for the Blues. Tried to go over on the flare pick, and the shooter did a good job of catching and shooting right away, and Sharanitz runs right into him, gets into that landing space. Hard to, if you're going to hit the lower body of the shooter as they're shooting it, probably going to get called for the foul. So that's going to be Parasso headed to the line for three. Misses the first. Cam Parasso, a 9.2 points per game, 46% from the floor, just a 21% shooter from three, so not a guy you want to foul, especially considering he's an 82% free throw shooter, although he did miss the first one. Gets the second. He'll get a third here. Try to stretch this lead to 4. Julian Witt back in for Milos Sharanitz after Sharanitz picks up his second here about halfway through the first half. 9:37 to go. Parasso 2 out of 3. Stretches the lead to 4. A little bit of token man-to-man pressure here. Just one-on-one, just trying to turn the ball, steal a little bit of time. That can turn into a little bit of a run and jump, which is a trap later on, sometimes from the front side, sometimes from the back side. Whitman, nice little curl, trying to get Desi in the post and try to go into him, but nothing doing. Again, Ishik with a pretty quiet first half here so far after career-high 40 points last weekend. Witts. I didn't see what the call was. I think they called a travel on Desi. Didn't even see the call. It happened so fast you could barely even hear the whistle. But it's a Whitman turnover. PLU basketball again. Gonna call a foul on Witt before the pass. Julian Witt with his first, team 5th. PLU to inbound on the left side here. I believe that's Burton with the ball. Smith running off. Smith, pretty good three-point shooter. Would be top 5 in the conference, if I remember right, if he had enough attempts. 40.5. Excuse me, he is 4th in the conference. 7th in the conference in three-pointers made. Another Whitman foul. That's on Witt again, so Witt now has 2. So Sarp's going to have to check back in. Fotu back in. So Elisagare, Fotu, Guckberg, Higgins, and Ishik for the Blues. Smith, Rice, that's Parasso with the ball, Brown and Burton. Cam Rice with 8 on the shot clock, going to step out and hit the 3. So PLU starting to get that three-point ball going a little bit. 2nd in the conference, 1st in makes. They are as a team. Higgins hasn't been able to get much here last few games. Brown there with the hand check on Ishik. Julian Brown's first, team 5th. So PLU will be shooting on the next one of theirs. They've got drawn 16 fouls on Whitman, 5 team fouls now on the Lute. So Whitman just 2 fouls away from shooting free throws the rest of the half. Ishik gets in the lane over Brown, nothing doing. Ishik able to bat the ball around, but Parasso secures it. 21-14, Lute starting to stretch this lead out a little bit. Whitman has been stuck at 14 here for quite a while. Fotu trying to reach in and get a steal. There's that same kind of screening action on the 3-man side there. There's 3 men over here. Variety of different guys cutting to the basket. Burton and Rice not communicating well there. Smith with the back cut. Nice little left-handed floater. Usually if a guy's a shooter like that, doesn't always finish real well around the basket, but his at 11 points per game, and he shoots 47% from the floor. So he can finish from 2 and hit the 3. Gockberg trying to get in the lane, finds Higgins. Higgins back to Gockberg. 13 on the shot clock. Ishik, nice little up fake, finds Higgins. There's a good look for Ken. Off the mark, though. Fotu's going to get called for the foul on Rice. That'll be 2 on Fotu, so Desi will have to come back in. So with 8 minutes to go, or under 8 to go, media timeout at 7:26. Whitman dealing with some foul trouble, down 9, Pacific Lutheran basketball. 7:26 remains first half. Whitman hitting a little bit of a cold patch. Whitman now just 36% from the floor. PLU 63%. Whitman 2 for 6 from 3. PLU 1 for 4 from 3. Whitman's starting to have not really bad turnover issues, but a couple here and there. 6 turnovers now for the Blues to just 3 for the Lutes. 1, 2, 3, 5 Lutes players with 4 points, so the scoring's very spread out. 5 players with 4 and 1 player with 3. So that's really even scoring. Whitman, similar fashion, 2 players with 4, 2 players with 3. So 7 players in the game have 4 points. 3 others have 3, and then other than that, nobody else has scored. Ali F.I. after a 40-point night the other night, off to a slow start here, no points tonight. Milos Sharanich already to the bench with 2 fouls. And so Whitman having to dig into that bench a little bit. Elisagare, Higgins, Gockberg, and Desi. And then number 22, Luke Johnson, 6'2", first year out of Bellevue, checking in for the first time. Cam Rice headed to the line. 1-1 here. Off the mark. Gockberg there tracking down the rebound. So it's Parasso, Brown, Burton, Rice, and Tellez back in. Elisagare will try the 3. Got it. There we go. Marcel, again, would be top 5. He's another guy that would be top 5 in the conference if he had more attempts. He's shooting 41% from 3, averaging just 5.6 points per game. Has only taken 44 threes. It sure seems like that should be enough, but he was not listed. And now we got a rebound foul on Parasso. That's his second. Pretty physical game so far. A lot of fouls. Capranos back in for Rice. Capranos 5th in the conference in minutes played. I think Ishik's 7th on that list. Desi, maybe traveled there. Gets away with it. Luke Johnson's going to try the 3. Off the mark. Desi battling Capranos for the rebound, but Capranos away with it. He's got 3 rebounds now. Working out of Capranos. He'll find Burton. Burton will try the 3 off the mark. But Parasso, first one to the ball. Ball batted around. Higgins with the steal into the front court. He's going to get fouled, I believe, by Parasso. And if that's on Parasso, that's his 3rd. Ooh. Again, Parasso, 4th leading scorer. So feels like a bit of a big deal because he's definitely to the bench for a while. And that'll continue into foul trouble into the second half. Barry back in. Caleb Barry, number 4, with Mac Hepper for the Lutes. Higgins headed to the line, sophomore out of Walla Walla, 12th in the conference in 3-pointers made, shooting almost 40% from 3. Just 62% from the line, but gets the first. Averages just under 8 points a game. Had quite a stretch there. He had almost four games right around 20 points in a row. Early December into early January. Has cooled off a little since then, if I remember seeing the stats correct, but it's the life of a shooter, especially a young shooter, only a sophomore. Good help there on Capranos, almost tips it away. That was great help by Higgins. Gardenberry out top, there's the show, and the recover. Good job by Desi. Oh, Higgins gets back cut, trying to cheat it. Got to be careful not to cheat those cuts on an open side because there's nobody there to help you get that back cut covered. Capranos almost with a foul there on Desi. Gockberg getting in the lane, spins back. Trapped by Capranos. Desi's going to try the 3. Off the mark. Tellez does a good job of flying in for the rebound. 6-point lead for the Lutes. 5:25 to go. Whitman just gone a little bit cold here. Kind of makes me think of the Whitworth game here a couple weeks ago where Whitman hung around, and then just went cold. And Whitworth really able to pull away. Again, this PLU team maybe not quite as good as the Pirates, but starting to feel like that a little bit. Capranos with the 3, got it. just the second three for PLU so far. But again, you don't want to let them get going from three. That's kind of what they do. Again, they do such a good job of spreading things out, moving with the ball. Higgins is going to try another one. Got it. Bank shot from the corner. That'll win you some horse games. So Higgins now with 5. Brown getting in the lane, trying to bully ball Garkberg, and it works. Not super quick that move was, but just kind of kept bodying him back a little bit farther and a little bit farther and a little bit farther, and then able to turn around and get that right-handed jump hook. Stretches the lead back to 8. Oh, Higgins might have had it, but instead kicks it out to Johnson. Good decision by Higgins because it gets him 3 instead of 2. Luke Johnson with his first 3. Back to a 5-point game with 4 minutes to go here, first half. Oh, Johnson maybe with a reach. Got away with it. Switches the handoff. Gockberg switches the on ball into lane. That's going to be off Tejas' foot. Yep, exactly. Absolutely correct, but Coach Chad Murray thinks it should have been a foul. As we head to the under 4 media timeout, it'll be Whitman basketball trailing PLU by 5. 3:48 remains. First half, Whitman trails Pacific Lutheran by 5, but has the basketball. Tonight's games are being brought to you by Flow College, the essential destination for college conference partners in Division 1, 2, and 3, which packages event live streams and rich editorial content into one accessible product. It is the leader in streaming for Division 2 and 3 sports and the #1 provider of women's sports at these levels, with more than 9,000 games slated for the 25-26 season. With Flow College, subscribers have the most comprehensive and personalized access to select college conferences, schools, teams across all leading web, mobile, and connected TV applications. Whitman basketball, Lazarevic back in, Elisagare, Higgins, Johnson, and Fotu, Hepper, Capranos, Tejas, Smith, and Barry for the Utes. Whoa, Fotu goes down. Probably should have been a travel. Was not. Whitman swinging around. Elisagare with a little head fake, gets in the lane, finds Higgins. Higgins with another 3, got it! Higgins getting corner happy, just hit one out of the left corner, now finds it out of the right corner, this time straight in instead of the bank. Good help by Elisagare on Tejas. Even better finish by Tejas. Great job taking the bump, staying on balance and hitting a little fall away. Tejas now with 6. Capranos with 9. Those are the 2 leading scorers. Both average right around 14 a game. For Capranos, just over 14. Elisagare well off the mark. Man, that's the second one from that wing that has not touched much of anything. Somebody open a door over there. Might be a little breeze coming through. Got to account for the wind. Not any of this country club stuff. It could move the ball 3 to 6 inches from side to side, depending on what the wind's doing. Whiteman can't jump anybody? Nope. Okay. Oh, nice back cut there by Smith. Smith, again, known for his 3-point shooting, but a couple of back cut lay-ins, so a nifty little cutter as well. And the lead's back to 6. Whitman had it back to 2 just a second ago after that Higgins 3. Elisagare going to use the Fotu screen, back to Fotu. Fotu try to spin, gets hung up by Capranos. Going to find Johnson in that same corner, got it! Whitman getting hot from 3 all of a sudden. So 2 minutes to play, Whitman down 3, PLU basketball. A little bit of foul trouble for the Blues. I think 3 different players with 2. Sharanitz, Witt, and Fotu all with 2. So Fotu back in the game right now with those 2 fouls. could pick up another one here. He's over the top of Capranos. Yep. He's not straight up there. That's going to be 3 on Fotu. Parasso with 3 on the PLU side. Good job by Capranos to recognize that Fotu was not straight up and down and go right at him. So Capranos gets the bucket to get to 11 points. Trying to make it 12 with the 3-point play here. Trying to stretch lead back out to 6. Bernard Desi back in the game for the Blues. Again, Capranos, a 67% free throw shooter. Knocks that down. Lazarevic will inbound against that man-to-man pressure. Just kind of light man-to-man pressure. Just turning the ball. Trying to get you to make a silly mistake. Steal a little bit of clock. Just kind of get you a little out of sorts. Higgins looking for Desi. Gets it in. Good job. Desi's going to go to work. Nope, back out to Higgins. Higgins will try another one. Ah! In and out. That one looked good. Higgins seems to be feeling it a little bit tonight. Got rid of those last couple awful quick. Ooh, maybe had Tejas on the back cut, but good pressure by Desi so that Capranos couldn't see it, but Tejas is going to try the 3. His is off the mark. Maybe a little bit of a grab there on Smith on the rebound. He was kind of grabbing Elisagari on the waist. No call, but Whitman away with the rebound anyway, so nothing hurt. Capranos really trying to pressure those entry passes. PLU wanted a moving screen. Tejas, great poke away. What a great poke check, and then dive on the floor to get PLU the basketball after it looked like Whitman was going to be away with that is a reach. I don't know what Johnson wants the officials to do there. You can't reach across. If a player is driving right and you reach across his body and your body with your right hand, that will get called every time. Coach Lamana with a 30-second timeout. Remember, they got to use it or lose it anyway, so might as well call it there. We'll stay with you because it'll stay a 30. Players should be staying up. I don't think anybody's sitting down. Yep. So we'll just stay with you here. But again, young players, you got to reach with if the opposing player is driving right, you got to reach with your left hand without reaching across his body, and you got to slap up, not down, to get away with that. If you reach across, slap down with your right hand as somebody's headed right, going to get called every time. So coming out of the timeout, it'll be a 1-1 for the Lutes. Smith, Tejas headed to the line. Capranos, Berry, and Hepper for PLU. Elisagari, Higgins, Lazarevic, Johnson, and Desi for the Blues. Tejas headed to the line, 82%. Second in the conference. Not a good guy to foul. Announcer jinx didn't even work. Not doing my job tonight, apparently. Leads up to 7. 39.6 to go. Fresh 30 on the shot clock, so there'll be 9.5 seconds difference. Tejas makes the second one pretty clean after hitting just about everything but the kitchen sink on the first one. Pressure by the Lutes. Again, just that man-to-man pressure, then they kind of just back out of it. Just trying to steal, again, 6 seconds, 6-7 seconds every time they steal off the shot clock. Elisagari waiting to get it going here. Probably wait till about the 10 or 12 second mark to run your play. Look for some type of pop-out 3. Almost a 5-second call. Yep, trying to run a flare for Lazarevic. Lazarevic gets the 3 off. Got it. Multiple fakes. Barry's got about 9 seconds to go. Gets it ahead. Hepper wide open in the corner, off the mark, flops, goes down. Tejas with the rebound, and they are saying foul before the end of the half. They might review this to see if there's any time left. Make sure that the call happened beforehand, but the official indicated foul's going to be on Johnson, his second. I believe it was on Tejas. The officials are sending him to their bench, so they'll take a look at 2 things here. Double check that the foul actually occurred before the buzzer went off, which I'm pretty sure it did. And then I suspect they'll put a little bit of time back on the clock, maybe in the 0.5 to 0.8 range. It might be even a little bit over a second. I thought it happened quite a bit before the end of the half, before the buzzer. The whistle was maybe just a little late. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. I'm pretty sure the foul is going to be a foul because I think it happened with time still left on the clock. It's just going to be how much time is left, and there's not going to be much of a chance for Whitman to do anything regardless of how much time, because even if there's 2 seconds left with the ball under your own basket, either off of a live ball rebound or an inbounds, is just not much time, especially with PLU being in, it looks like they're saying 0.9. Yep, 0.9 on the clock. So Tea's headed to the line. Foul was on Luke Johnson, his second. So that adds to the foul trouble for Whitman. And again, just Tea's a terrible guy to foul because he's 82% on the year. So he can shoot these blindfolded and have a pretty good chance of making both of them. And I think Whitman, 0.9 gives them enough time to catch and shoot, but I don't think you have enough time to bounce the ball. Probably have enough time to turn and shoot. So Whitman getting their rebounding squared away so that they don't give up a cheap, easy one and give up 2 points here instead of 1. 40-34. Tez misses it. Ball batted around. And somehow there's 0.1 left on the clock. Felt like that should have been it. So 0.1, you can't do anything. I think you could tip the ball, but if you catch the ball, it's over. And that'll take us to half. So 40-34 is the halftime score. PLU leads Whitman. We'll take about a 10-minute break and then get you some first half stats as we get prepared for the second half of this Northwest Conference Friday night basketball thriller.
Sarah Marshall. I'm a senior politics and environmental studies major, and I work with the Career and Community Engagement Center as the student leader for community partnerships. It has provided me with a lot of opportunities to work collaboratively with a diverse range of people. So as I look to my post-grad plans, I'm thinking a lot about nonprofit work and community building, community organizing, and I don't think that any of that would have been the direction I would have chosen without having this hands-on experience.
My name is Kane Ryan. I am a junior biochemistry, biophysics, and molecular biology major, and I am a fish culture technician at the CTUIR's Muscle and Lamprey Lab. I think growing up in the Pacific Northwest, just being surrounded by so many streams and lakes and river systems, and never really knowing what was going on in there always got me really curious and interested in what was happening below the surface. Pacific lamprey and freshwater mussels aren't considered species of interest by most organizations. We have the opportunity to study these species in way more depth than anywhere else in the world.
5 minutes remain here before the start of the second half. Whitman trails PLU 34-40. Big game for both teams. Again, both teams sitting at 2 and 4 in conference, tied for 6th. Both teams have a top 2 team to play tomorrow, with PLU going up to Whitworth and UPS coming here to play the Blues. So you gotta try to get at least one out of this weekend. If you could get 2, that would really help your cause in terms of the playoff picture. PLU shot 64% first half. Really got hot there in the middle of the half. Just 2 for 8 from 3, 6 for 9 from the line. 10 points by Charlie Capranos, 9 points by Ben Tejas, 3 rebounds by Capranos. 3 players with 2 assists for the Lutes: Dom Parasso, Julian Brown, and Caleb Berry. 5 first half turnovers by the Lutes, so pretty efficient offensively. Whitman, just 44% from the floor. Luckily, 8 for 16 from 3. That's what's keeping them in it. Shooting 50% from 3 and making 8 in the first half. 4 for 6 from the line. Led by the 8 points of Ken Higgins, 6 points by George Lazarevic and Luke Johnson. Again, the 2 leading scorers, Milos Serenic, just 4 points, got into early foul trouble, only got to play 6 minutes. And then Ali F. Aishik played just 9 minutes and no points in the first half after having 40 last time out. 4 rebounds by Serenic, 2 assists for Desi and for Fotu, so the 2 bigs with 2 assists each. Whitman with 7 first half turnovers, so turnovers not a major issue in this game. Rebounding is 12-11 in favor of Whitman, but points in the paint is 20-6 in favor of the Lutes. And again, what's keeping Whitman in this game right now is that 8 for 16 from 3. They've outscored the Lutes by 18 at the 3-point line, and that's what balances out that points in the paint. Reminder, the Whitman women won 89-50 tonight over PLU. Emelina Baker with 18 and 10. Kayla Peters with 14. Morgan Montgomery with 17. Holly Morgan with 13. So 4 players in double digits, and then Andrade had 9 for the Whitman women, so almost had 5 players in double digits tonight. A reminder that the Blues are in action again tomorrow afternoon against the University of Puget Sound at 3 and 5 p.m., and then we'll head back out on the road for games against Willamette and Pacific next weekend, Whitworth the following Tuesday. So next 3 on the road after tomorrow night for the Blues. Visit www.whitmanblues.com for updated dates, game times, viewing options, and ticket information. Should be Whitman basketball. I don't think we had a tip. The Lutes won the alternate possession. The Lutes won the tip at the beginning of the game. So I think Whitman's got to get a little bit more efficient offensively, find a way to make things a little tougher for the Lutes. The Lutes had a ton of success with that screen away action. So point guard passes to the left wing, screens away, and a little come-together screen on the wing there, and able to get a couple back cuts out of that, a curl cut or 2. Just seemed to give Whitman some issues in terms of were they switching it. Whitman staying a little too high on the court and creating the ability of the screener to slip behind and get a couple of easy baskets. So Whitman's got to clean that up, get a little bit lower on the court, continue to make PLU just pass the ball on the perimeter, force them into tough shots, and then clean up the rebounding, because, again, that's one of Whitman's strengths. First in the conference in rebound margin, out-rebounding the Lutes by 1 so far. So if they can continue to create some extra possessions there, that would be helpful for the Blues. Again, no PA address announcer tonight. If you haven't heard any of that, that is why. Had a mic go out, not able to fix it or figure out the issue. So you're stuck listening to my voice all night. You think that's bad? I'm stuck listening to it my whole life. So, no, not funny. I thought it was. Just here to entertain myself, folks. All right, so Whitman's out of the timeout, or out of the half with Elisagare, Guckberg, Higgins, Lazarevic, and Desi. Kind of an interesting lineup for the Blues. Ishik and Sharanitz, neither one starting. Remember, Sharanitz does have 3. No, just 2. It's Fotu that has 3. Capranos, Tejas, Parasso. That's Tejas saying that Gockberg hit him in the face with the off arm. Gets the foul, so Gockberg, that'll be his first. Turnover on Whitman as it goes over to the Lutes. And, of course, they'll take a look at this now and try to act like it's some type of big flagrant thing. This is the type of stuff I get really frustrated with. If you have extreme ball pressure, you are going to potentially get hit in the face from time to time by the offensive player completely inadvertently and not in a way that should be a foul. Again, it's the player reaction that seems to create the foul there, so. I don't know. I think that's a tough one. I guess I can see it from the official's point of view. I don't like that call because there's just nothing malicious there. We definitely don't need to take a look at it. We don't need to take a look every time somebody gets hit in the face. If we raised our hand for every college basketball player that got hit in the face at some point that didn't get a foul called, all of us would have our hand raised that ever played college basketball. All of us have been hit in the face where there was no foul, where there's nothing intentional. It's just hands are flying. It happens sometimes. So we'll see what happens here. I never got to the lineup for PLU, so it's Parasso, Brown, Barry, Capranos, and Tejas. I believe it's just going to be a common foul, so it should be PLU basketball. They can't reverse the call there. They're just checking to see if it's flagrant in any way, which seemed pretty easy to be able to tell you it was not. So that'll be turnover on the Blues, 19:41 to go. It'll be back to the Lutes here. Higgins, Garden, Barry up top. Some down screens for Tejas. Again, that same kind of action. It's kind of a staggered double. Desi able to tip it away. Brown tracks it down. 16 still on the shot clock. Lots of time for the Lutes. Brown trying to get in the lane. Going to go at Elisagare and kind of body him. Going to big body him. He's done it once already in the first half. That time he's short. Elisagare able to pull it out. And Capranos going to get called for the foul. And again, I think there's way more contact on that rebound than there was on the drive down on Sarp. And so you got to call that. That's the tricky part. If you're just calling that little bit of contact, then pretty much any reach for the ball is going to be a foul, because if you're going to call the offense for protecting the ball, then you kind of call the defense for creating contact when they're reaching for the ball. Elisagare, 3 on the weak side, off, but able to track it down, finds Higgins. Short. Oh, 2 really good looks for the Blues there. By percentage-wise, they're probably their 2 best three-point shooters. Could have cut the lead in half there. Tejas by Garkbook. Able to fight back in front, but they're going to say too much contact. Probably a little bit of body there. So that's 2 now on Sarp. Second team foul on the Blues. Tejas back to the line again. Just a bad guy to foul. 82% coming into the night. Just 3 for 4 in the first half, though. But now he's 4 for 5, which is 80%, so he's right on average. Especially if he hits this one. Half-court defense been pretty good by both teams. But you just got to limit trips to the free throw line, man. Those are easy ones. Those are lay-ins for Tejas. Even though he's missed one, those are just lay-ins. Desi with the on-ball for Higgins. Trying to maybe get it into Desi. See if he can go to work here on Capranos. Get another one on Capranos. Finds Guckberg. Sneaking behind the defense after a little bit of a mishandle. Sarp's able to get it up and lay it in. Hoping to maybe get a foul on Tejas there. And Tejas doesn't have any. Capranos with just one. So the two big guns for PLU not in foul trouble at all. Barry there with a nice little drive and able to hit the lay-in. Miscommunication there by Whitman, but able to come away with it. Swinging just down to 10 on the shot clock. Whitman's got to go here. Guckberg gets down the lane. Out to Lazarevic. Blocked by Parasso. Brown into the front court finds Barry, but Barry mishandles it. I love that reaction by Barry. Very upset with himself. Handled it pretty well, though. Julian Witt back in. I'm wondering if, I don't know if I'm allowed to wonder this, but there's got to be something wrong with Ali Faishik. He only played 9 minutes in the first half, has not seen the court in the second half. I wonder if there's an illness or something there that we don't know about with him. There doesn't seem to be any injury issue because he's moved just fine, but has not been himself tonight, and looks like Whitman's going to try to go a different route here. Capranos able to track down the rebound off the Higgins three. So Sharanitz and Witt back in. Looks like Luke Johnson's about to check in for the Blues on the next dead ball situation. Still that first five for Pacific Lutheran. Capranos with the up fake. Sharanitz, remember, just with two. Nice back cut by, wow, that's a nice back cut and a pass by Capranos to Parasso for the lay-in. And the lead's back to double digits for the Lutes. Again, both teams really working out of that high post quite a bit. A lot of curl cuts, back cuts, split action. Gockberg out to Elisagari. Elisagari trying to get by. Trying to find Sharanitz, but stole by Capranos. Pretty good ball pressure by Elisagari up top, but able to get it to, who is that? Parasso down on the block. Nice little jump hook, but Witt did a good job of holding his ground and made that jump hook from about 12 feet instead of from about 6 feet, which is where it should be. Capranos with another hand. Passes are just a touch late for the Blues, and this should take us to the under-16 media. 15:38 to go. Whitman trails PLU 36-46. $15:38 to go. Whitman trails Pacific Lutheran by 10. Whitman, a slow start to the second half, just 1 for 5. PLU 2 for 4. So PLU still shooting 62%. Whitman down to just 40% on the night. Out of the timeout, PLU is going to have a little bit of a lineup change. Henry Smith back in with Capranos, Brown, Tejas, and Barry. Whitman basketball in the corner. Oh, Ali F.I. back in with Sharanitz, Elisagare, Johnson, and Witt. So Whitman going kind of small here, trying to get Sharanitz in the post a little bit. Maybe get Ishik going here. Oh, Ishik mishandle. Capranos with another deflection and gets the steal this time. PLU basketball again, so a little bit of turnover issues here to start the second half for the Blues. Mainly Capranos with the effort. Nice kick out to Tejas, off the mark, ball batted around. I think that's going to be off of Witt last. And so that will be PLU basketball still. 15:03 to go, 11 on the shot clock. Not sure why there's only 11 on the shot clock. I think that hit, there we go, fresh 20. Shot clock was just a little slow there. Tejas with the flare screen from Capranos, tries to spin. Elisagare, good hand in there. Capranos with another deflection, but he's going to get called for the foul. 2 on Capranos. Coach Murray does not agree. Says nay. So Elisagare with the ball. Luke Johnson, Ishik, Sharanitz, and Witt. I think I maybe already said that, but I don't remember. Sharanitz drives in. They're going to say Tejas wasn't there early enough for and kind of started falling too early, so he's going to get called for the foul, his first. Sharanitz hits the lay-in. I'll head to the line for one. See if we can get a three-point play here. Again, 6'4", sophomore out of Bratunac, Bosnia and Herzegovina. Leading rebounder in the conference on the season. Gets the free throw, 66% free throw shooter. Elisagare harassing Barry there. Barry gets the back cut though. One official was going to just say it was out of bounds, but the trail official somehow saw a grab. So foul is on Elisagare, his first, team third. Barry to inbound, finds Smith. Tejas for the three. Hits the three, tried to draw the foul by Johnson. No call by the official there. But that'll stretch it back out to 10. Ishik still scoreless on the night. Johnson's trying to get in the lane. Finds Elisagare in the corner. That's been, corner threes have been a success, or a key to the success for the Blues tonight, but Elisagare not able to hit that one. Lutes secure the rebound. Really working that dribble handoff action where they don't hand it off and then look for the back cut as that player goes over the top. Capranos going to get in the lane, trying to big body. Sharanitz gets the step through, misses it. Sharanitz with the great rebound. Whitman's got an advantage here, 5-on-3. Got to find somebody. Ishik finds Elisagare. Elisagare will try another three. Got it. Capranos a little late getting back in the action there. So we're bouncing back and forth between 7 and 10 right now. Getting threes on both sides. Whitman needs to string together a couple of stops here. Smith trying to get in the lane on Elisagare. Elisagare does a good job of getting his body in front. Witt pressuring Barry into Capranos. Curl cut, back cuts. Capranos right-handed jump hook off the mark. Ball batted around, up. Capranos goes and gets it after Ishik mistimes the jump. Gets the offensive rebound and the putback. Carasso back at the table. Desi at the table for the Blues. Cam Rice at the table for the Lutes. Elisagare try to get in the lane. Back to Sharanitz. Gets grabbed. That's going to be 3 on Capranos. So all of a sudden, Capranos active with his hands, but as he gets a little tired, gets caught with his hand in the cookie jar. And I'm not sure what's going on here. There's no timeout. So it'll be Whitman basketball on the baseline. Ishik, Desi, Witt, Higgins back in with Johnson. And then Smith, Tejas, Rice, Parasso, and Barry. Higgins gets open, gets in the lane, kicks out into Desi. 16 on the shot clock. Still time here. Desi's going to make a move here on Rice. Gets in the lane, little turnaround jumper. Just can't crawl over the front of the rim. Tejas away with the rebound. I feel like my voice is starting to go here, folks. I'm usually pretty high-pitched and nasally, but I feel like a little different level. Got to get in my full announcer voice. Desi with the good show there, but Rice opened at the rim. Good help. Parasso out to Smith. That's what Smith can do. The lefty's off the mark, though. Johnson away with the rebound. He'll push it. 9-point Lute lead. 12:05 to go. Under 12 media will be coming up next. Higgins trying to get open. Instead, Johnson wide open at the three-point line. Short. Great tip by Ishik underneath the Witt. What a heady play by Ishik. He doesn't grab the rebound. He just a quick little finger tap to Witt for the lay-in. High post action again for Rice. Split screen, curl. Parasso down the lane. Ooh. Thought about trying to throw it down, but just finishes with the finger roll over 3 or 4 different Whitman defenders. Just trading baskets right now. Whitman just can't seem to pair a bucket with a stop. Witt swinging the ball, 14 on the shot clock. Whitman's going to go here pretty quick. Desi looking to do something. Skips Higgins off the mark. So Higgins cold to start the second half, even though he's got a couple out of the corner, which is one of his spots. He really likes those corners. Hit a couple from the corners in the first half. PLU just really working that same kind of action there. They have the ball a little higher. They're all the way out. Their bigs all the way out at the top of the key. But still a lot of split screens, a lot of come-together screens, a lot of curl cuts, a lot of back cuts. Just really hard to defend and communicate. Rice gets stuck, has to throw it back out to Tejas. Tejas, deep three over Higgins. Off the mark. Parasso's able to push Johnson far enough underneath to get the offensive rebound and get a fresh 20. Gonna look to back Johnson down, maybe go to the jump hook there like that. But again, Johnson, pretty good job of holding his ground and forcing that jump hook a little further outside than maybe Parasso wanted it to be. Higgins in the corner. Swing it to Desi. Again, got to try to get Ishik going somehow. Desi trying to hit Witt on the back cut. They're going to say foul, I believe, on Cam Rice. And so pretty late on the media, but at the 10:07 mark, we'll get the under 12 media. Whitman trails 9 with the ball on the side. .10:07 remains. Second half, Whitman trails by 9. Visit www.whitmanblues.com for all your up-to-date information on Whitman athletics, including current team schedules, student-athlete features. Also follow Whitman Athletics on X, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Reminder, the Blues are in action tomorrow afternoon against the University of Puget Sound at 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. before heading back out on the road for games against Willamette and Pacific next weekend and Whitworth that following Tuesday. Visit www.whitmanblues.com for updated dates, game times, viewing options, and ticket information. Should be Whitman basketball here. The turnover was nullified by a foul called on Cam Rice, which I believe is his first, team 5th here in the second half. Gockberg, Sharanitz, Lazarevic, Elisagare, and Witt for the Blues. Hepper, Rice, Burton, Brown, and Smith. Sounded like a law firm there for the Lutes. Lazarevic is going to try the 3 off the mark. Good job by Milos to get the rebound, though, off the mark there, and they're going to say off of Whitman, PLU basketball. So Burton into the front court here. Under 10 to go, second half. Whitman still trails by 9, just has not been able to get it. 6 at halftime, not been able to get it inside of that in the second half. Burton with the 3 out of the quarter. Rice able to track down the rebound. Gonna say foul first. Coach Lamanna adamantly disagrees. Thought Witt had the jump ball. They're gonna say the foul on Elisagare before that. So Marcel Elisagare, his second, team fourth. Cam Rice to the line. Rice, 6'8" freshman out of Phoenix, Arizona. Misses the first. Averaging 5.5 points on the season, 80% free throw shooter on the year as well. So a little bit of a surprise that he misses the first one. 9:34 mark, second half. Jim got awful quiet there, and Rice misses both. Ball batted around. Some people would say ball don't lie. Buckberg into the front court. Finds Witt. Witt coming off Sharanitz. Trying to get the ball into Sharanitz. Get some those come together screens. Sharanitz trying to go. Mishandle. Whitman's got to get it working again into Sharanitz. See if he goes middle here. Nope, he's going to skip it to Elisagare. Gets in the lane. Nothing doing. Sharanitz gets the offensive rebound, and as he's going up, he gets fouled. Cam Rice. Coach Murray doesn't like that. He thought Rice was straight up, but that'll send Sharanitz back to the line. Milos with 7 points already, now 8. 6 rebounds on the night. 11 minutes of action. Got, again, a little first half foul trouble. Had 2 pretty early on in the first half, so Coach Lamanna sat him down. Sharanitz now 5 for 5 from the line. Gets it back to 7. Whitman, again, just has not been able to string together stops and buckets. So gets those 2 free throws, see if they can get a stop here, and then go down and get another bucket to get this back inside of the halftime deficit. Elisagare is going to get called for reaching. That's his third now. So Fotu with 3, Elisagare with 3 for the Blues. Capranos and Parasso with 3 for the Lutes. Tejas will check back in, it looks like for Burton. Fresh 20 on the shot clock. Smith, Hepper, Tejas, Rice, and Brown for the Lutes. That's an illegal screen, holy cow. Rice is off the mark. Every rebound just a battle right now. So you got Elisagare, Gockberg, Sharanitz, and Tejas with the big 3. Sharanitz, Elisagare, Witt, Lazarevic. So Whitman unable to get the stop, and it's right back to 10. Gockberg get in the lane. Ooh, just big body. He just bully balls Tejas there. PLU's had a couple possessions like that. Whitman hasn't had many of those tonight, but Gockberg there with a nice little bully ball maneuver. Whitman switches the light, but Smith's going to try the 3. Got it. Again, got to be careful. I was really impressed with the PLU lineup. Out of their top 7 scorers, only 1 guy shoots below 35% from 3, and that's Dom Parasso. Sharanitz going to the rim. PLU again wants that to be straight up and down. And that'll take us to an intermediate. We'll get the foul was on Tejas, which I believe was one of the help defenders. So we'll talk about that here in a second. PLU up 11, 7:34 to go, immediate timeout. 7:34 remains, second half. PLU up 11. Milos Sharanitz headed to the line, trying to close it back to single digits. Try to get it back to a 3-possession game. If Whitman can just string together a couple of stops, have been unable to here in the second half. PLU still shooting 55%. Whitman just 39%. Whitman now 9 for 25 from 3 after being 8 for 16 at half, so 1 for 9 in the second half from 3 for the Blues. That's not going to get it done, so got to heat up a little bit. Very easy to do. 7:34 to go is an awful long time. Gockberg, Sharanitz, Elisagare, Johnson, Witt. No bigs in the second half for the Blues to speak of. I think Desi played a little bit. Oh, and he's at the table. My bad. And then you've got Capranos, Brown, Pepper, Smith, and Tellez for the Lutes. Desi apparently checking in for Sharanitz because he's at the table, so the only reason they'd make him wait for the second shot is because Sharanitz is the player they're subbing out for. So Milos will get a quick breather here after he cuts the lead back to 9. Foul trouble for the Blues, 3 on Fotu, 3 on Elisagare, 2 on Gockberg, Johnson, Witt, and Sharanitz. For PLU, 3 on Parasso, 3 on Capranos, 2 on Tellez, 2 on Rice. Brown off the mark. Desi mistimed the jump because the ball hung on the rim, but luckily Whitman able to clean it up. Gockberg tries to get in the lane, kicks it out to Witt. Around to Elisagare. Ooh, almost puts Hepper on his backside. Little slip. Split screen, or come together screen. Elisagare is going to try the 3, need it. Got it! Downtown bang. Back to 6. We said Whitman maybe needed to hit a couple of 3s here. Maybe get going a little bit. Capranos had a pretty good night doing just about everything. Knew that coming in. He does everything for the... I'll let the crowd tell you how popular of a call that was. 16 fouls now on the Blues. Everything else is 1-1 for the Lutes. Again, just getting caught reaching just a little bit and trips him up. Capranos with the 3 off the mark. Elisagare battles for the rebound, gets it. No numbers though. He's got to be smart here, not get trapped or anything. So there's a stop. String together a stop and a bucket. Whitman hasn't done much of that here in the second half. Desi gets a little stuck out there. Swinging it around. Elisagare's got it. Back to Desi. Desi's got to watch his feet there. Feet are a little. Elisagare's going to try another one. Ooh. Boy, that left wing every time. He had a couple in the first half. Something about that left wing he does not like. That's 3 3-pointers from the leftish wing in this game that Elisagare has had a hard time drawing a rim on. Barry back in for Brown. It's a lot of B's, especially for a heavy guy. So Elisagare, Johnson, Gockberg, Desi, Witt in. Oh, Tellez wide open. Miscommunication. Whether to switch or stay on the back cut. That's the great thing about back cuts, all you basketball players out there and coaches out there. If you'll teach your players to back cut, it creates a huge amount of pressure on the defense to properly communicate who's staying, who's switching. And it will create some wide open 3-pointers like that because both players go with the back cut because they're so freaked out about the lay-in. Ball was tipped around there, ruled off of PLU last. 13 on the shot clock. Gockberg to inbound it. 1-4 high set. Trying to get Elisagare coming off that into Desi. 10 on the shot clock, so got to go here. Gockberg going to try to get in the lane. Kicks it out, but Smith does a good job of sinking and stealing that pass. So it's back to 9. Lutz leading with the ball. Feel like at some point you kind of got to make your. Tea's going to try a really deep three. Great job by Barry to pressure the rebound. Almost gets Kapranos a lay-in, but Kapranos blows it. Gockberg gets everybody in the air. This one's on Smith. Good job by Gockberg to get him up in the air. I don't know how much contact there was, but you put a ton of pressure on the officiating staff when you get players in the air and you're around the basket and there's a little bit of contact. So Sarp will head to the line. 50% free throw shooter on the year. Could use these two. Short, though. Higgins, Shranitz, Lazarevic coming back in. Lazarevic is for Gockberg, so he'll have to wait for Gockberg to make this one to try to get in. Hepper, Kapranos, Smith, Teaz, and Barry for the Lutz. Ooh. 0 for 2 for Gockberg. Smith with a wide open three off the flare screen, off the mark. Gockberg able to affect it just a little bit. Elisagari away with the rebound, trying to get in the lane. Good up fake again. Oh, probably should have shot that. Johnson down the lane. Nice bounce pass to Shranitz for the bucket. Just over 4 minutes remain. Whitman down 7. Again, got to string together. Coach Few at Gonzaga used to talk about 5 stops. Got to get 5 stops in a row. 3 to 5 stops in a row. The number of times you can string that together greatly impacts the outcome of a game. Whitman could use a stretch like that right now. 3 to 5 stops. Good pass by Kapranos, off the mark by Hepper. Who almost got his own rebound, and then Shranitz away with it instead. Whitman into the front court. Gockberg trying to back down. Barry, good spin. Finds Higgins, that'd be huge. Got it! Timeout, Coach Lamanna. He's going to take a 30-second. That should stretch to a full. We're going to stay with you, though. 3:38 to go. Second half. The reason that stretches, so again, coaches only get 3:30s and a full because of all the media timeouts. The first 30 called in the second half automatically stretches to a full timeout. So that's even though we're only 3:38 to go, that's the first timeout called by a coach in the second half. Both teams are in the bonus. So PLU has 18 fouls. Whitman has 16 fouls. So PLU will be headed to the line for a 1-and-1 the next time they are fouled. Whitman will be headed to the line for a 1-and-1 at least the next time they are fouled. Alternating possession arrow is in favor of the Lutz. The Lutz left with 3 timeouts because their use it or lose it 30 is gone. So they've got 2 30s and a full left. Whitman with just 2 timeouts left. 1 30, 1 full. Again, foul trouble, 3 on Elisagari, 3 on Gockberg, 3 on Fotu for the Blues. For the Lutz, 3 on Parasso, 3 on Kapranos. At this point, 2 fouls does not constitute foul trouble, in my humble opinion. Higgins now with 11 on the night, 3 threes, all of them out of the corner. Shranitz, Higgins, Elisagari, Johnson, and Lazarevic. Kapranos, Smith, Teaz, Barry, and Hepper. For a little surprised Parasso's not back in. Pretty good job of getting some rebounds and some stops by Parasso. Whitman maybe in some type of half-court press here, or trap here. Nope, just man-to-man. Don't want to get a foul way out here, though. Got to be smart. Help over. Good, there's your stop. Good help by Lazarevic. Good cleanup by Higgins. Whitman down 4 with the ball. Probably talking a little loud right now. I'm getting a little excited. Come together screen. Elisagari 3 and off the mark. But Lazarevic able to save it. Finds Shireen. It's still 12 on the shot clock. Lots of time. Elisagari drives in. And they're going to call him for the offensive foul. That'll be 4 on Elisagari. Wow. And that should be the under 4 media, so this time we will take a break. 2:55 to go. PLU up 4 with the ball.
Sarah Marshall. I'm a senior politics and environmental studies major, and I work with the Career and Community Engagement Center as the student leader for community partnerships. It has provided me with a lot of opportunities to work collaboratively with a diverse range of people. So as I look to my post-grad plans, I'm thinking a lot about nonprofit work and community building, community organizing, and I don't think that any of that would have been the direction I would have chosen without having this hands-on experience.
.255 to go. PLU basketball after the offensive foul call on Marcel Elisagari. Won't be a shooting foul because offensive fouls are player control fouls, and those do not ever lead to shooting, to free throws, on those fouls. So, again, Whitman has finally strung together a couple stops here. See if they can string together two more. Again, possession arrow in favor of the Lutes. Whitman 2 timeouts remaining. PLU 3 timeouts remaining. Lazarevic, Johnson, Elisagari, Higgins, and Desi for the Blues. Barry, Tellez, Hepper with the ball there. Smith and Capranos. Johnson trying to get the steal is going to blow up Tellez. And Tellez back to the line. Again, that couldn't have worked out any worse. Trying to make a hustle play, get caught, being a step too late, and then you foul the best free throw shooter on the court for PLU. Sharanitz is going to check back in for Desi. Gets to come in on the first free throw because it is a 1-on-1. So good job by Whitman to take advantage of the 1-on-1 here. I don't think it was intentional. I don't think it was necessarily a strategic move by Coach Lamanna. Cleaning up the sweat spots here. Real quick. So Tea's headed to the line, 1-on-1. 2:51 remains. PLU up 4. A fan trying to break the silence and distract Tellez, but again, Tellez has been money from the line tonight. Now 6 of 7. Gets them both. Back up 6. So Whitman kind of needs a bucket here. Moving, swinging around, trying to get some cross-screen action, get it into Sharanitz. Nope. 14 on the shot clock. Look for Mielers to maybe go here. Gets it to Elisagari. Elisagari in the lane. Back to Sharanitz. Gets him up. So he's going to get the 4th foul on Capranos. Sorry. Get a little too much of the hitting the hard A instead of the ah. So Desi's going to check back in. Capranos with 4 now. Sharanitz headed back to the line. He's been money from the free throw line tonight. Bernard Desi looking to check back in for Sharanitz. So Whitman will probably press here again, especially with a chance to set it up after the free throw and the sub. That's why if you're leading a game late, you don't want to foul. Is great way of setting up your pressure is to sub in for somebody, and then everything's got to stop, and you get to set up your press. So it's back to 4, 2:25 to go. Lots of time here. Whitman needs a stop. Doesn't need a steal, just needs a stop. Oh, Tejas stuck. Does a good job getting it out to Hepper. Good job by Elisagari to get back. Elisagari tries to get the back tap. Doesn't get it. Down to 18 on the shot clock. Barry's near that half-court line if he steps back. Lazarevic and Johnson with the switch. Whitman doesn't want to foul now. Good tip by Desi. There's the steal. Down 4 with the ball again. Try to get it going to the rim. Timeout for Coach Lamanna. Get subs back in. Sharanitz back in. Good job by Desi getting that steal. 30-second. So last 30-second by the Blues called with 1:55 to go here, second half. So just a full left for the Blues. Possession arrow still in favor of the Lutes. Lutes still with 3 timeouts left. Remember, you cannot advance in men's basketball, so even if they call a timeout on a made shot or whatever, they still have to inbound from the baseline, so Whitman gets a chance to set up their pressure. Best case scenario here for Whitman would be to draw some contact as they're going to the rim, get another free throw, get that defensive sub back in. That's worked pretty well for Desi. Referees really trying to get both teams out. Lazarevic, Higgins, Johnson, Elisagari, and Sharanitz for the Blues. Barry, Tejas, Capranos, Smith, and Hepper for the Lutes. See what Whitman has drawn up here. Trying to get it into Sharanitz. Same little play with Elisagari. Elisagari down the lane. Oh, tough one. Ball batted around, though. Smith away with it. Ahead to Tejas. Hepper's going to slow it down, though. Whitman just needs a stop. Don't need to foul here. Oh, that's an offense. Oh, that was an offensive foul. That was the same push-off by Barry that Elisagari got called for. It just didn't hit him in the face. It's the same contact. Whatever. Whitman just needs a stop. Don't reach. Don't foul here. Tejas with a tough one off the mark. Ball batted around. Still batted around. Lazarevic with it, with numbers. Ahead to Elisagari. Elisagari mishandles but finds Sharanitz. Coach Lamanna is going to use that last timeout. That was a great job. I did not see who tipped that last for Whitman to be able to dig that out, but that came out from under the pile because a Whitman player was able to tip it just at the very last second. Lazarevic able to grab the ball from behind there. So 2-point game, 1:02 to go. So Whitman has no timeouts left. That's key here. They got to be aware, no timeouts left. They got to make sure all their players know. Cannot call a timeout here. That would lead to a technical foul, which would be disastrous here. But you just got to play defense. You got lots of time here. It is a little risky with 1:02 to go. If PLU ran it all the way down and scored, then you'd be left with about 32 to 35 seconds down 2 possessions. But again, if you get a stop, then not only do you have a chance to tie, you have a chance to win the game on a 3. So I would expect, Coach Lamanna's been in this position a couple times with me watching him. I would expect them to just play really good defense here. Maybe a little bit of pressure in the backcourt. Don't want to give up anything easy in transition, though. Maybe even a little half-court trap just across half-court. We'll see what they got going here. PLU, what they want to do is make sure if they get something easy in transition, you take it. If you get a wide-open lay-in here, you take it. Because if you just pull the ball out, then you run the risk of not getting something good at the end of the shot clock. So Lazarevic, Elisagari, Johnson, Higgins, Desi, that defensive lineup that Whitman's kind of hung with here the last 4 or 5 minutes. Barry, Smith, Hepper, Tejas, and Capranos. Again, I'm not really sure why Parasso's not in. He's an 82% free throw shooter. Just, again, feel of the game here. Little trap there. Don't foul, don't foul, don't foul. Ooh. Ooh. Now trap it again. Okay. Now you just play good, solid defense. Lots of time. Probably going to show on. Can't get called for a reach or something here. Got to get through stuff. Flare screen. Good job by Johnson to get back over it. Barry gets down the lane. Oh, that's a killer. That is a killer. Ooh. Bernard Desi, just his first of the game. Really tough finish by Barry. Give him some credit there. He absorbed the contact. I don't even know how he saw the rim or the backboard on that with Desi going up. So Barry headed to the line. Just averages 6 points a game on the season, but he's a 90.5% free throw shooter. This PLU team's a very good shooting team. So a chance to make it 5. So Whitman's got to get it and go fast. No timeouts left for Whitman. Coach Murray's going to take a timeout this time. He's got 2 left. Whitman out of timeouts, 30 seconds, so we'll stay with you. So, again, Whitman doesn't need a 3 yet, just down 5. What you've got to do is you've got to sprint the ball up and get a bucket as quickly as humanly possible. And then set up your pressure. And now you probably, if you don't steal the inbounds pass, you probably get a chance for 1 trap in the backcourt. You either steal the first pass out or you foul. And you got to turn this into a little bit of a free throw parade. Capranos and Smith are the 2 worst free throw shooters on the court with Hepper. Nobody's terrible. Capranos is 67%, Smith is 73%, Hepper is 75%. You do not want to foul Barry. He's almost 91% on the season. You don't want to foul Tejas. He was 82% coming in, and I think is 8 for 9 on the night. Little man-to-man pressure here by PLU just so you can't roll the ball, just trying to steal a little bit of time. But again, Whitman's just got to get it and go. Got to turn and go. You got to turn and go. Really need to go quick here. Going to call Whitman, I think, for the brush screen. Yep. Higgins has to be set. Desi will check back in. That makes it really tough. I know Whitman fans aren't going to be happy about that call, but that is a foul. And then Coach Lamanna gets a tee here. So that'll be 2 shots and the foul. So Barry will head to the line for 2. Two shots here for Barry, and then it'll be PLU ball on the baseline because it's point of interruption. Again, Barry 91% on the season. So the trick with that is so many teams are doing that dribble handoff, brush screen stuff, 4 or 5 years ago, that they started calling it a foul because it's impossible to defend if you let the offensive player on the move make contact. And so what Higgins has to do there is he's got to be completely set when the contact is made, and I don't think he was. And again, Coach Lamanna definitely doesn't like that, so PLU does a good job of getting it to Barry and Tejas, the 2 best shooters, free throw shooters. El Sagari is going to pick up his 5th, so Gockberg will check back in. Barry will head back to the line. 2, it's a 7-point game. Now if you're Whitman, you have to have a 3. They were running that play for a 3. They were trying to get to Higgins, handoff, flare for Higgins. And it just kind of all had to happen too fast, and the contact happened before Higgins could get set from what I could see. I don't know. I'd have to see it on film to see if Higgins was set, because that completely determines whether or not it's a foul or not. Was he set or was he not set? If he was on the move, then that's a brush screen, and coaches scream for that getting called all the time. Unfortunate for the Blues, so Barry misses 1. So Whitman needs a 3 here. Gockberg gets a 2 instead, so back down to 6. Set up the press, see if you can get a steal. Unfortunately, no. Tez more than happy to take as much time off as possible, especially with 2 timeouts left. So that'll be I think a 30-second timeout. 15-7 to go. PLU left with 1 timeout, alternating possession still in their favor. It will reset the 10-second count as well, so Whitman has to foul. They've either got to steal the inbounds or foul. Can't afford to try to get a 10-second call here because then you'd be down 2 possession with 5.7 seconds left, and that's just not enough time. So you're going to have to just sell out, man-to-man, switch everything. Sharanis is going to check back in, and you've got to get a steal or a foul on the inbounds immediately. You're really trying to keep the ball out of the hands of Tez or Barry, even though Barry just missed one, but he's a 90% guy, so if he's missed one tonight, probably not going to miss very many others. You would expect a player for PLU to run deep here, so you got to watch that. So you got a 3-quarter front, switch everything, be a full front, somebody goes deep. That's Capranos going deep. Good switch on everything. Nobody with Capranos. Capranos will just waste the time. Good job by Higgins to at least foul Capranos. That's 3 on Higgins. Capranos headed to the line for 2. Is just 67%, so that is the guy you wanted with the ball in his hands, but you would have liked the steal in the backcourt. Because even if he misses 2, you still need 2 threes in 13 seconds, which is tricky. That makes it really tough because now it's a 3-possession game. Unless PLU does something really stupid. Gets them both. Whitman's got to go. Needs a 3. Has to be a 3 here. You got to. They're going to let you go to the rim, but you need a 3. Foul. You got to foul. You got to foul. You got to foul. You got to foul. Nothing. And that'll do it. So, despite a furious comeback by the Blues, PLU is able to escape 72-66 victory. Remember, the Blues play again tomorrow night against the University of Puget Sound, 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. start.